Hello, darlings. Welcome to this episode of Here Comes the News. I'm your host. My name is Mika. Usually, right about now, I would put in some sort of joke about why Stevie can't make it tonight, but to be entirely honest, my heart's not in it. That being said, let's talk about what's happened over the past few days. Starting off, just really kicking it into gear. I'm sure by now that everyone in the audience knows that the United States decided to bomb the fuck out of Caracas in Venezuela and kidnap President Maduro and his wife. And, when Maduro and his wife were seen in the U.S., when they were brought to New York and brought before a judge, they looked pretty banged up. This is from CNN.com. Trump officials told lawmakers that Maduro and his wife hit their heads as they attempted to flee U.S. forces. Apparently, President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores, were injured after hitting their heads as they were fleeing U.S. forces trying to arrest them. They ran and attempted to hide behind a heavy steel door inside their compound, but the door frame was low and they hit their heads as they tried to escape, the officials said, according to sources. When they appeared in court, they had visible injuries, and Flores' attorney told the judge that she sustained significant injuries during her abduction. Additionally, there's the belief that she may have a fracture or severe bruising on her ribs, according to her attorney. The attorney requested an X-ray and full physical evaluation to ensure her health moving forward. Flores swayed and dipped her head at times during the hearing, and Maduro struggled to sit down and stand up at points, according to reporters in court. Courtroom sketches of Flores show her with bandages on her head. The administration officials, who briefed lawmakers on Monday, described Flores' head injury as minor. Take that with a grain of salt, I'd say. The reason President Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores, were brought to the U.S. was because, according to the Department of Justice and the Trump administration, they were both the masterminds behind a drug smuggling operation bringing fentanyl and other harmful drugs into the United States. One of the arguments that was frequently used, including by the president, Donald Trump, was that they were the members of a cartel, a drug cartel called the Cartel of the Sun. Thing of it is, this is from weonews.com, the Department of Justice silently admits there is no drug trafficking group called Cartel de las Sols. The much publicized Cartel de las Sols, which was allegedly a leading drug trafficking network from Venezuela, does not exist. It was the pretext used by the U.S. President Donald Trump to justify a campaign against Venezuela and the abduction of its president. Instead, the term Cartel de las Sols is a slang term used to define a patronage system and culture of corruption that is fueled by drug money. In March 2020, the Justice Department's indictment mentioned Cartel de las Sols 32 times. It mentioned that the group provides weapons to a Colombian Marxist rebel group called FARC, which funded its militant activities through drug trafficking and flooding the United States with cocaine. However, In the 2026 Department of Justice indictment, the term appears only twice, referring to a culture allegedly supported by successive Venezuelan presidents Hugo Chavez and Nicolas Maduro. The original drug trafficking pretext for Maduro's kidnapping has largely been dismissed by many of the U.S. allies and adversaries. Now, the tacit admission by the Department of Justice of the absence of an actual cartel of the sun reveals the true motivation behind the U.S. campaign. Which, it's oil. It's fucking oil. It's always oil. It's natural resources. Venezuela is estimated to have something in the neighborhood of $1.6 trillion worth of natural resources, such as oil, rare earth minerals, and other fossil fuels like coal. And as if invading Venezuela wasn't enough, this is from AlJazeera.com. President Donald Trump threatens Colombia's President Petro and says that Cuba looks, quote, ready to fall. The U.S. president says a military operation in Colombia sounds good to him and warns Mexico to, again, this is a quote, get their act together. Trump's comments on Sundays came amid a growing outcry over the brazen abduction of Nicolas Maduro, with Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Mexico, Uruguay, and Spain condemning the U.S. action as a dangerous precedent for peace and regional security. Trump told reporters on board Air Force One that Venezuela and Colombia were, quote, very sick, and that the government in Bogota was run by, again, quote, a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States. And he's not going to be doing it very long, let me tell you, Trump said, referring to Petro. When asked if he meant a U.S. operation against Colombia, Trump said, sounds good to me. The remarks prompted a sharp rebuke from Petro, who told Trump to stop slandering him, while also calling on Latin American countries to unite or risk being treated as a servant and slave. In a series of lengthy posts on X, formerly Twitter, Petro noted that the U.S. is the first country in the world to bomb a South American capital in all of human history. But he continued saying, revenge is not the answer. Instead, Latin America must unite, Petro said, and become a region with the capacity to understand, trade, and join together with the whole world. We do not look only to the north, but in all directions, he said. President Donald Trump is also apparently once again discussing taking over Greenland, claiming that it is essential to the United States national security, and has said that the U.S. military is always an option. This is from Reuters.com. The president and his team are discussing a range of options to pursue this important foreign policy goal, and of course, utilizing the U.S. military is always an option at the commander-in-chief's disposal, the White House said. Greenland has repeatedly said it does not wish to be a part of the United States. Leaders from major European powers and Canada have rallied behind the Arctic territory on Tuesday, saying it belongs to its people. A U.S. military seizure of Greenland from a longtime ally, Denmark, would send shockwaves through the NATO alliance and deepen the divide between Trump and European leaders. The strong opposition has not deterred Trump from reviewing how to make Greenland a U.S. hub in an area where there's growing in interest from Russia and China. Trump's interest, initially voiced in 2019 during his first term in office, has been rekindled in recent days in the wake of the U.S. The article says arrest of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, but I'd rather stop using that terminology. It was a kidnapping, an abduction. A senior U.S. official, speaking on condition of anonymity to discuss internal deliberations, said Trump and his advisors are discussing a variety of ways to acquire Greenland. Those options include the outright U.S. purchase of Greenland, or forming a compact of free association with the territory, the official said. A compact of free association agreement would stop short of Trump's ambition to make the island of 57,000 people a part of the United States. The official did not provide a potential purchase price. Diplomacy is always the president's first option with anything, and deal making. He loves deals. So if a good deal could be struck to acquire Greenland, that would definitely be his first instinct, the official said. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told lawmakers that recent administration threats against Greenland did not signal an imminent invasion, and that the goal is to buy the island from Denmark during a classified briefing late on Monday for congressional leaders, two sources familiar with the briefing said. You may be wondering, how does Denmark feel about this? What are they doing to prepare? This is from lbc.co.uk. Danish troops have been told to shoot first and ask questions later if the U.S. invades Greenland. The European nation's rules of engagement require soldiers to immediately counterattack invading forces without awaiting for orders. On Wednesday, Denmark's defense ministry confirmed the existence of the 1952 rule and added it remains in force. So, yeah. Not to be hyperbolic in any way, but it does feel as though we're kind of headed toward World War III at this rate. Just based on the world at large reactions to the United States of America's behavior as of late. Speaking of things in the U.S. that aren't going well, earlier today, Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. I can't even say the date right. Renee Good, 37, was shot and killed by ICE agents. This is from StarTribune.com. She was an amazing human being. Her mother identified the woman shot and killed by ICE agent. Good died just a few blocks from where she lived. A woman who answered the door at Good's home declined to comment. Donna Ganger told the Minnesota Star Tribune that her daughter lived in the Twin Cities with her wife. Ganger said the family was notified of the death late Wednesday morning. It's so stupid that she was killed, Ganger said, after learning some of the circumstances from a reporter. She was probably terrified. Ganger said her daughter is not part of anything like that at all, referring to protesters challenging ICE agents. Renee was one of the kindest people I've ever known, she said. She was extremely compassionate. She's taken care of people all her life. She was loving, forgiving, affectionate. There is video of what happened. And in the video, you can see a vehicle with ICE agents walking up to it. According to witnesses at the scene, the ICE agents tried to open the door to the vehicle and pull Renee Good out of it. She reversed quickly, tried to pull away, and one of the agents shot her 3 times in the face. Her car traveled a little ways down the street and hit another vehicle and a utility pole. Her wife was in the car with her at the time. She also had a 4-year-old child. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I got the age wrong. A 6-year-old child. Moving on to nprnews.org. Kristi Noem, who is the head of the Department of Homeland Security, says that the ICE agents was perfectly justified in killing Ms. Good. A neighborhood resident and witness to Wednesday morning's fatal shooting of a woman by an ICE agent in South Minneapolis told NPR News that the woman posed absolutely no threat to any of those agents, which is contradicting the narrative being shared by federal officials. The woman, who asked to be identified only by her first name, Betsy, said she had just returned home from walking her dog when she heard horns and whistles nearby on Portland Avenue. She walked over to see what was happening. What I saw when I came around the corner was a maroon SUV and a cluster of vehicles on the street, including what appeared to me to be federal officers kind of out and surrounding the vehicle, as well as a number of neighborhood witnesses on the sidewalk. As she walked closer, Betsy said that she saw what appeared to me to be a federal agent. He was a man wearing a black bulletproof vest, and he was yelling at the driver of the maroon SUV. She appeared to me to be trying to move her vehicle south on Portland Avenue to get out of the way of the activity of what was happening. And the officer was on the driver's side of the car. He was yelling at her, and as she tried to accelerate her vehicle to go south on Portland, he reached his arm into the driver's side of the car and fired multiple shots. Reportedly, ICE agents prevented any of the bystanders or witnesses from helping Ms. Good after she was shot, including one who was a doctor. they basically left her to die. Homeland Security Kristi Noem told reporters that an ICE agent who shot and killed the driver was defending himself, and other officers feared that they would be run down. Noem said the woman, 37-year-old Renee Good, was among a mob of agitators who were harassing the ICE agents and impeding them in their lawful duty. State and local officials, including Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey and Governor Tim Walz, pushed back forcefully on the federal narrative that officers were justified in using deadly force. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, in a press conference later, actually said ICE agents need to get the fuck out. Because they're not protecting the peace, and they are a danger to the citizens of Minneapolis. Sometimes I embellish when I say what a politician says. But he said, "Get the fuck out." It's a bit of a quote. Kristi Noem said that the FBI would investigate what has happened. And she said that the agent was an experienced officer who followed his training. Because apparently, the training that law enforcement gets here in the United States is you should shoot anyone attempting to flee. President Trump had statements about the killing, saying that Renee Good was obviously a professional agitator. President Trump went on claiming that the ICE agent had been hit by her vehicle, despite the fact that the witnesses say that's not the case. The agent was seen walking around just fine after the shooting, and the agent didn't appear to be hit by the vehicle on the video that's circulating either. However, President Trump said it's hard to believe he's alive. I just viewed the clip of the event which took place in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It is a horrible thing to watch, said Trump on Truth Social. The woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator, and the woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, and then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer, who seems to have shot her in self-defense. Based on the attached clip, it's hard to believe he is alive, but is now recovering in the hospital, Trump continued. The same self-defense argument was used by Kristi Noem, the DHS secretary. However, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey described it as, quote, bullshit. Governor Tim Walz said, "I've seen the video. Don't believe this propaganda machine. The state will ensure there is a full, fair, and expeditious investigation to ensure accountability and justice." Trump continued to blame the incident on the radical left, who he believes are targeting ICE agents. I would be remiss if I did not mention, earlier this year, ICE agents shot and killed a man in Los Angeles. and another in Chicago. A lot of the narrative that I see around this is people saying that this is horrible that an American citizen has been killed by ICE agents. But I would argue Renee Good being a citizen shouldn't matter. Because supposedly, a person is innocent until proven guilty and must be given due process, must have a trial. Law enforcement is not supposed to summarily execute whoever they please. So her being a U.S. citizen does represent an escalation, but it by no means should be any less horrifying than when ICE agents abuse, beat, or kill immigrants. That being said, I'm going to move over to our vibe correspondent, Mephisto, to see what he has to say about all of this.
You must resist tyranny for red, white, and blue, for liberty, justice, and equality too.
Did you like that intro?
I like that intro. It's very patriotic.
You know, gets the blood flowing. Makes you feel like you need to do something
That a patriot would do.
Yeah.
Of course, we all know what real patriotism is.
Real patriotism is where you follow your leaders completely blindly, doing everything that
They say, even if what they want to do is dangerous for you
and your community. Does it cause you harm?
It does,
Well,
They're your leaders. You get to obey them.
because that's what patriots do. They obey.
Never question. You're a patriot.
Our final headline tonight is from the LimpkinInstitute.com. Experts warn that the U.S. is in early stages of a genocide against transgender people, against trans Americans. Genocide scholars say policies targeting transgender Americans match early warning signs of mass atrocity. I am concerned about genocide against trans people in the United States in the near future, said Dr. Henry Thorold, who served as the IAGC president from 2017 to 2021. Under international law, genocide refers to the acts aimed at destroying, in whole or in part, religious, national, ethnic, or racial groups. But experts at Important Context spoke with argued that these legal categories may be too narrow or too narrowly interpreted today. Thorold said that increasingly attacks are aimed at groups that are socially defined rather than those explicitly covered by the UN Convention. Haley Brown, a former genocide researcher focused on attacks on transgender people, said there's very little scholarship on this topic at all. Dr. Gregory Stanton, a former IAGS president who serves now as founder and president of the group Genocide Watch, said that the attacks on transgender and non-binary people in the U.S. represent a genocidal attempt to destroy a gender group. Stanton noted that Raphael Lemkin, who coined the term genocide in the 1940s, also understood it to have a broader definition beyond religious, national, ethnic, and racial contexts. His view was that political groups, cultural groups, social groups, economic groups should all be included in the definition of genocide, Stanton said, adding, I think he would have also have included gender groups. For years, the political right has been ratcheting up eliminationist rhetoric against transgender Americans and dismissing their identities as ideology. At the 2023 CPAC, conservative commentator Michael Knowles called to eradicate so-called transgenderism from public life. In its first year, the second Trump administration has quickly moved to marginalize non-conforming Americans. Has chosen to I lost my place in the article. For the first year of Trump, or the first year of so far the second Trump administration, he's going after gender non-conforming Americans. The president has issued so many executive orders. They're aimed at eroding non-discrimination protections and access to health care and strip away the rights of trans people. Other Republican lawmakers have been on the same crusade, with more than half of all states in the U.S. now restricting youth access to gender-affirming care and banning transgender participation in youth sports. 20 states now have explicit regulations on transgender bathroom use. Haley Brown told Important Context that the bathroom bills effectively give non-state actors tacit approval to commit violence. And if you have watched our usual podcast, Gender Swap, we have brought up in segments of the past about people being attacked in bathrooms because someone decides they shouldn't be there because trans reasons. And most of the time, the person being attacked is cis, not trans. Haley Brown said it's always been about policing. It's this idea that I am going to create and reinforce my ideal values of society and the state, down to the very physiological characteristics and features of the humans that exist in that state. Thorold said that he is concerned about the kinds of legal shifts that are happening and the kind of blatant hatred being expressed by the president and his followers, and also government leaders, and the way that they're acting on it. I think we're already at the point for trans folks, for immigrants, where the damage is being done, Thorold said. So it's not so much will genocide happen, as we've got to stop it from happening. I am glad that experts on genocide are speaking out about this. Finally. Trans people in the U.S. have been talking about this is the direction it's going for the better part of a decade. And no one really seemed to care to listen. So, maybe now that there's experts, someone will deign to do something about it. That's been this week's episode. I'm sorry that it hasn't been very jokey. The news today has been dire. So, all the information I've given you, it's freely available online and at various news sources. You can look up yourself. You can verify the things I've been talking about. And as always, with any information that I give you, do with it what you will.